Okay, I think we're live. So, what we did yesterday, for everyone new who's watching, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do like a Tales of Arise cosplay, both Shion with her huge dress and her gun, and Alphen with his two swords and like all his armor. Because I thought that would be a cool challenge. I might come to regret that in the coming few days, but you know what? We'll see. I gave myself a timeline. The timeline is I want to get this done within the next 3 weeks. So I'm kind of ready for one of the cosplay festivals we have. I think in June. I hope it's June. If it's not June, I'm going to take this out and do a photo shoot by myself because I'm not going to let this sit in my closet until whatever next event rolls around, right? Right. All right. So yesterday what we did is we kind of examined, I think, like Shion's dress, both front and back views, and we kind of broke it down into what I thought were more manageable components, I think. So we kind of have here, what we have is, we have a dress, right? So I broke it down into kind of like a corset bodice bit, as you can see with the purple. Let me just get rid of this. With the purple, I think I'm just going to keep it like kind of flat instead of having it pointed, just so it'll be a lot more easier to work with. We don't have to think about like, oh, will the front kind of puff up a bit more than we would have expected otherwise. And also, I think just generally the patterns I found online just seem to show that I think if you have just a regular rounded waistline, regular waistline, regular waistline, regular hemline, whatever. If you just have that, it's a lot easier, I think, to it's a lot easier to just work with that instead. So I'll just keep it kind of flat. Really basic looking, but I think basic's fine. The detail and the flair for me really comes from, I think, just how dramatic the skirt is. The fact it's a high front, low back, and it's also puffy, which is super fun. I got some double-sided satin in white for what I think the corset bit will be right here. So all this made out of the same white satin that I'm going to double up so it's strong enough that it can be like the little corset panels here, and then kind of sew them together. I couldn't find boning for the corset, so that's this bit here, the bits that kind of reinforced when you wear it, so you know it's a corset. But I got some online. I got, I think, like 50 yards of it, because they only sold it in like huge chunks, so I could only get that. But I think it was quite worth it. I'll just have a lot for, I think, future cosplay projects, because I like the idea of corsets. I'm not opposed to the idea of making corsets. So I think if it works out well, then I will just continue using it for other stuff, because dresses are always fun to make, right? Okay. So we have the satin for that. We have actually gotten satin for the skirt as well. It's the same satin, but for the skirt, I don't think I'm going to double up because there's no need for me to do that. So I'm just going to do one like big circle skirt. I was talking to, I think, the shop owners. They were very, very helpful. Giving advice on how much we need for like, with all the pleats and all that. Because if you look here, her skirt is dramatic in the sense that there's a lot of pleats. There's a lot going on. That's why it looks really flowy. In order to make sure we really captured that, I just got a whole bunch of extra because I'm so worried that we're going to mess something up and then we're going to need to start from scratch. And I don't want to go all the way back there because it is hot here and I'm just lazy. So we got the white for that, and obviously it matches the corset bit because it's the same material. Hopefully it'll be flowy. I'm just going to add a lot more pleats, I think. Here is my plan. So I'm going to specifically bunch it up quite tightly around the waist just to give it a bit more detail. We also got, I think, a red kind of satiny fabric. I should have checked, but I didn't. Kind of a red satiny fabric to go underneath the white as well. So it goes here. I got slightly less of that than I did the white because I do know that I still need that red satin to make, I think, the bows on her arm. As you can see, let me just pick like a nice bright color. What's a nice bright color? Everybody is green. Already yellow? Yeah, sure, bright yellow. Her bows here and here, obviously. I thought it'd be good if these two colors could kind of match. Let me just use a new layer so I don't mess anything up. Here and here kind of match this lining layer. It'd be nice. So that's some extra cloth that I needed there. And then one big bow at the back. I thought it'd be nice if it could match the red here as well. Obviously, I had like this big issue where I was like, do I really want a really dramatic red? Do I want like blood red, like super saturated red? I could see it happening. In the end, I kind of thought a really, really bright red would look a little bit gaudy. So I went with a I think quite a nice maroonish red, a bit darker than blood red, kind of like the mid bits of my horns. I think if you can see that, something like that. Yeah. So it pairs with the white really nicely. It doesn't seem like it's very screamy, but it does add that bit of flair there. So I'm really happy with I think the fabric we've got for Xion. The thing I couldn't get, I just could not get lace that worked well enough to show off what I wanted. Some lace that I found looked really, really nice, don't get me wrong. It looked like fantastic, but it felt like hell when I put it on my skin because it just felt really like stiff and rough, and I don't want to leave that on my arms for like several hours on end, and more important like my shoulders and my back because I just texture, right? So I actually didn't get lace today. The ones that I thought were okay, I thought pattern wise it was all right. Their prices were just extremely high. You're talking like I think over like slightly over 100 USD, or slightly under 100 USD for about a meter of it. So I thought that wasn't worth it because I had like a budget that I kind of wanted to stick to. So I did my very best to not exceed that for now, hopefully. So I haven't touched the lace. If I don't get the lace, I think that's fine. I'll just get long gloves. And I think if it's bare shouldered, that's also quite a look, especially because she has these massive pauldrons here. Kind of cover up, I think, a fair bit of a shoulder, especially if you're posing for pictures and all that. You can see from the back here, it does take up a fair... Sorry, I didn't even draw that right. It does take up a fair bit of space here, see? So if I don't get the lace, I don't think there's much loss. Because you have to know that her ponytail obviously is also going to cover a fair bit of her back. I suck with wigs, so I need to figure out how that's going to work. Something else that I need to consider, I think, is the crown. The crown tiara thing. Could be a hair clip. Like I could just kind of stick it into the hair. That'd be good. I like the idea of a crown actually. But that's just me wanting to be a princess. So we'll see. I have one. It's just not. I think the red spikes I have on the crown that I currently own are just not tall enough and not dramatic enough. So it's not exactly what I'm looking for. But if I run out of time doing everything else, I'll just take that because, quite frankly, right? It's red and it's fairly pointy. It's fairly pointy. Not too pointy. Not pointy enough, but fairly pointy. That I think I could get away with using it for some period of time. Okay, so one thing we need to think about is how we're going to do all of these details here. I don't want to think about that because that looks hard and it's just more foam to worry about later on. That's it for Xion for now, I think. Oh yes, I also got tulle for the petticoat. I got quite a bit of it because I'm not sure how puffy I want the back to be. I think for the next few days, for the next few days, I think what my schedule's gonna look like is I'm gonna do my thing in the daytime, and then at night I might just stream and kind of vibe with you guys while like either cut out foam or I start sewing like a little mock-up because I realize I have a lot of white fabric at my place that I can kind of use for like a quick mock-up. It's just really cheap white fabric, but if I can get a sense of what dimensions I want, how long I want it to be, especially because if you see here, the dress is kind of ripped, which means that it might kind of mess with what proportions we're thinking of for now. So we need to take the longest length and then start taking away fabric from there instead of just assuming that, oh, we might just need this much. I am very worried about that. So I'll do a mock-up, I think, in the next few days, and then we'll just see how it goes. Follow my Twitter for the updates. I really appreciate it if you follow. Thank you. Let's see. Okay. That's it for Xion for now. If we just go back into our little gallery here, we have, I think, Alphen, who was a bit more of an interesting character to work on. Mostly because every single picture I have of him, every single one, the blue in his scarves, just so different. This one's like pretty dark, I'd say, like very saturated but quite dark. This one is just ridiculously light. It's a completely different shade. And this one's just a bit grey. And this one's closer to black than anything. So I walked around all the shops and I just kept feeling fabric. I was like, can I imagine this around my neck? Can I imagine this around my neck? Just over and over and over again for about like an hour or so. And in the end, I did find a fabric that I could imagine just kind of wearing as a scarf. I think it was light, but it was heavy enough that I think it can kind of hold its own, so it won't just and deflate as soon as you wear it, which I think is quite important to me. But it wasn't so stiff that it wouldn't give off the cool flowy cape effect, which I also want because, I think the cape bit at the end just adds so much drama. And it's dark enough that it already looks like it's been a little bit weathered, but not too dark that when you kind of rip and tear into it, that it just looks like, you haven't really done anything to it. So I think it's a good middle ground, not nearly as light as this, not nearly as gray as this, closer to this middle bit, like right here. This is the shade that I kind of got in blue for the cape. So I thought that was pretty good for the price that I paid for it. And I'm really happy we're still in budget. I think overall I want to spend like less than 150 USD for the whole thing. I think we're on track right now. In terms of fabric costs, we're definitely there, so that's fine. Okay, so for today, good and bad news. I think today what we're going to start to do, I hope to do at least, I think, half of it. At least his armor symmetrical, that's something. I'm going to start on breaking down Alphen'S armor specifically. Mostly because I need to get a sense of how much EVA foam I need to get in order to make it. And how much foam I need to get, and I think what thickness I want to get. I have some that's about, I think, 6 mm thick, but it's textured. So I'm also not sure how texturing is going to work with this. I've looked up some tutorials, and they did recommend, those rubber play mats that kids use that you can kind of link together. Those were what they recommended, and those are what Past Me got like 4 or 5 years ago. That's just been kind of sitting on top of my shelf. Ideally, I want to use it. It's thick. It's fine. It's just a little bit textured. So what I'm thinking is, because it's kind of like dimples, so there's like little dots on it. The dots aren't too big, but you can definitely see them. Maybe I'll use them as like base pieces to kind of give the armor more like oomph. And then I'll use these really thin sheets that I found online for quite cheap as like for like the fine details. But we'll get into that when we get into that. First, we need to start actually breaking down the thing itself. One of these days, I need to tackle the massive beast that is, how do we deal with with the sword that glows, because that is a problem. For now, though, we can look at this. I have what I hope is a better reference picture for what his front looks like. It has to be a decent size, or else, no go, no bueno. But okay, this looks okay up until the legs. We'll get to the legs when we get to the legs, I guess. No, there has to be a better one. Let's go look for a better one. I just need a good full body shot of Alphen and his armor, preferably with the there we go. Okay, that's exactly what I needed. Thank you, Google. Thank you. Okay. Goodbye. Side 3/4 view Alphen. Hello, front view Alphen. Something we need to remember, I hope it's not too small that it becomes really pixelated, because that would kind of suck. One thing we need to remember, I think, is that it is a little bit pixelated, but it's okay. Sorry, one thing I think we kind of need to remember when working with this is, obviously everything's angled. So you have to remember that, if you're looking at it from the top, there's obviously a curve going on here when you make these pieces. So one thing that I've done when I've worked on pieces before is, obviously you need to have your model either around or just readily available to be measured for this, because the last thing you want to do is to have everything done. And then on the day itself, you kind of realize, shit, my model's real thick. And I've made this really small because I'm dumb and I didn't realize, bodies curve this way. That wasn't really a big piece. I think it was just like a little something I added on. It was just made of cloth, so I could just kind of cut out a new piece. But with foam and the fact you need to stack everything on it, I'm a little bit more concerned. So for now, I think what I'll try and do is try and break down the pieces like how I want to break them down when you assemble them. So for example, I would want maybe this piece. Maybe I want this piece to be like one thing that I would make. And then obviously this bit goes over the knee, so I would want like say this bit to be a whole second piece that I would use, that I would kind of stick to the front of whatever pants I'm wearing with Velcro probably. And then for example, this bit goes over whatever shoes I'm wearing also with Velcro, and then this covers the shoe. Shoes are a different thing. We can work on them later, but I'm just gonna roughly break down how I want to do it. Also, I realized man has a belt. Man has a belt and man has a harness, I think, on his back in like kind of the shape of an X. That helps a lot. I was honestly, I was kind of wondering how all of this was supposed to happen, but now that I realize, it's just kind of stuck to his belt, it makes it a lot easier. With the help of a belt, that also means that this entire chain of like pointy arrow dagger things can come off with just one belt buckle, which would help a lot with disassembly and assembly. So we kind of save time on cosplay itself, because the last thing you want to do is be stressed out when you cosplay, even though that happens all the friggin' time. But you know what? That's gonna be fun. Ugh, sorry. Give me 1 second. Alright, okay. So, yeah, let me just kind of identify how I want to break things down. I know this looks like this is one big piece here. I know this looks like this is one big piece here and kind of another bit here. I'm thinking, do I want to make the whole thing like kind of one big piece like this? So it stops, I think, where the middle of your thigh is. So if this is your thigh, right? This piece will kind of go like from here to here. And then so we just have to do two parts. Because visually from what I'm seeing, it kind of looks like there would be kind of a third part here that kind of links the middle bit. I'm not too sure whether I want it. Also, in case it wasn't obvious, we're throwing historical accuracy or whatever amount of historical accuracy there is out the window. This is a game with both armor and like really pretty futuristic looking guns. So let's just creative liberty here a little bit. I thought I said this is a thyroid, and I'm like, no, Seppi, I'm an engineering major, but I feel like that's wrong. Okay, so we have an engineering major in chat. So engineering major, how does this work? How does this work? Where'd this go? Thank you, engineering major. Will it look ugly? I don't know. I don't know. The way we could assemble this is we just have different layers kind of stacked on top of each other. Where is thyroid's in your neck? Wait, I need to look this up. I actually need to know this. Wraps around, leaves a sexy little thigh gap. Actually, that's a good point. It's kind of concerning. I'm thinking, how is the cosplayer gonna walk around like this? Like, yeah, it's like layered scales. I got that bit. I'm wondering about the thigh gap part. You're right. Because no thigh gap feels like it'd be painful to walk around in. Yeah. It feels like if you really did layer like the middle part of the thigh, there'd be a lot of painful chafing, and they kind of have to walk like this to get around. Just like, because some dumb cosplayer designer decided to give them extra thick thighs with the addition of kind of scales that are here. So, let's see. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I just need to take something. Okay, so right. Okay, so we can think about this thigh part later. It's kind of bugging me a little bit. Painter look like scales, but it's flat near a crotch. Yeah, actually, I think the really cool bit is that there's this guard here, right? But underneath it, all this black, this black portion kind of looks like it's just pants, which would be great because if you can get oh, sorry, the light in my room, I thought it was spoiled, but it just turned back on, so let there be light. Okay, yeah. So anyway, so I'm quite distracted. Okay, so um, if we can just get pair of black pants that they don't mind kind of ruining a little bit, which I think would be pretty good. Then we can just get kind of the hook bits of Velcro, stick them to the back of these babies here, and then kind of just stick them straight onto the pants so we don't have to worry about it. Shorten the crotch dangle, definitely, definitely. We'll see about that. This is a big mess. I think the easiest bit is just kind of here because you know how it's gonna go. You're just gonna get two pieces of foam, kind of bevel the edges a bit. So you see, you're cutting at an angle. So instead of cutting it like this, you're cutting it like this. And when you cut it like this, you can put two pieces together, and it gives you kind of this nice curve. Oh, the light went out again. Yeah, so you can get this nice curve that you can then just kind of velcro, and then stick onto this boy's bad knee so he doesn't get shot. Hopefully, it looks like a little house. Hold on, his knee's a house now. It's a home. Because he put a furnace down next to his crafting table. That's right. I haven't played Minecraft in ages. Okay, so knee house aside, move. Let's just go to the bits that I think look quite clear. This is completely just a bunch of sketches first because I just need to roughly figure it out. For what I can see, also I need a side view. I need a side view of Alphen. I need a side view of Alphen. No, that's not it. No. Does this count? Sure. I'll take it. Thank you, Google. Very cool. Crop and resize. Let's just double the size of this. That's right. Okay. Just add the photo we've politely borrowed. I need to start picking my pictures better. Sorry, Shion. We don't need you right now. Alright. Okay, so that aside, as we can see from kind of the almost side view that you want me to, okay. There we go. And I'm gonna leave it 89.5 degrees tilted to tilt you guys. Okay, so as we kind of see from the side view, what we can tell is that his chest plate does go out a little bit and then it kind of tucks back in towards his waist. And then obviously the little crotch dangly thing and then all the daggers that he has, kind of like freeform. So I assume that they're kind of tied to the belt that he has going around his waist because you can see it on the back as well. Okay, so this bit here, this bit here. Oh, am I drawing on the wrong layer? Did I draw on the wrong layer? Oh my god, I drew on the wrong layer, didn't I? I did. I'm so grateful to be doing this digitally because I would never survive if I had to draw this whole thing out in one try. Okay, so angled out, right? That bit's kind of obvious. That's science. I'm being bullied by an engineering major. Leave me and my fun arts and crafts alone. Right. So I think what they said is a great idea. So obviously it's going to be layered like scales. That's true. What we're gonna do. My thoughts are super scattered. Okay. what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this part like a little bit longer, I think, so we have the room to kind of layer over one after the other. One after the other. And then we can trim off any excess, because like what any person who makes stuff, especially clothes or whatever, will know, it's better to have excess fabric and then kind of cut it off and tailor it down than, you know, it's impossible to add fabric. That saying doesn't go like that, but you know what? We're gonna take it. So for this bit, yeah, so you're gonna kind of break it down like this, I assume. I know it looks like there's something here, but I think we can just kind of pretend that doesn't. Oh wait, no, we can't. Okay, we can't ignore that. This is why it's important to have different perspectives, because I thought that this was like kind of one piece and then this was another piece, but no, I'm wrong. This is one big piece, and then there's another piece here, and then these bits kind of go over it. Okay, that's not terrible. So we're gonna do the same thing here, which is we're gonna bevel the edges, so we're gonna cut it at an angle so we can get everything nice and fit around the center. Obviously, I think this center seam is gonna be quite ugly, but that's okay. That's what our 1mm foam is for. And we're gonna make the little accessory on top and then just smack it on. Cool, okay. So that's the rough outline of, I think, the top bit. Is there... Do we have pictures of... It looks like pieces... Yeah. Measure twice, cut once. No, I think measure twice, cut once is just being careful of what you do before you do it. This is specifically leaving room for error, because, you know, there's a very good chance that you might just mess it up. Whatever. The meaning kind of is the same, so I think we'll take it. All right. Bleh. Okay, let's go find... Can we find Alphen without the scarf? That would be good. That would be very good. Without scarf. Can we see our boy without a scarf in his armor? No. No, apparently we can't. Can we? No. Well, that's alright. If you guys have reference images of that, I'd really appreciate it. Also follow my Twitter, thank you. Parents like to tell me what Roomba charges is now, it's like just dead in the water. You let it die? Also, what do you name your Roomba? This is very important. I would like some tea, but the only way you're gonna give me any is if you just dump several crates of it, into the ocean. And I'll just take a salty little sip. What was I doing? Alright, okay. So that's it for the armor. I'm gonna sketch everything out, then kind of line it over, and then start breaking it up down into pieces. I think that's the best way to go about it. We have this, but this is an accessory, so we're gonna ignore this for now. Leg piece. I actually kind of agree. I think we're not gonna do the sexy little thigh piece for now. We can always add on an additional sexy little thigh piece later with some of the thinner foam. I think if you want to. I think for now we're kind of good with not having that. Given the fact that the scarf covers literally everything, I'm just gonna take some creative liberty here and just assume that the breastplate kind of just stops. And maybe there's either a strap or a piece here that connects to the back. I have an image, I think, of his back. I hope. Do I? Oh yeah, I do. Okay. Time to expand the canvas even more. This is already a massive canvas. But you know what? It's fine. Chinese heritage. Hand games by Brits. You love to see it. Okay, wait. I think the image of Alphen'S back is really, really telling. Like, it really helps us understand a lot more about what his character model is supposed to look like, and what I think they... like, the continuity, I guess, between the front and back. So, again, we really don't see much here. all I see here are the straps, which I think could be really useful. So we can just end the armor piece here actually and just use the blue faux leather straps that are presented in the back to kind of tie front and back together, which I think would be absolutely great. So we have our little back pieces here, right? So we can just assume the back plate is a completely new piece. Isn't that just fantastic and convenient? It is. It is. Say yes. The answer is yes. Okay. So the back seems quite standard, shall I say? So we'll have one piece for the shoulders kind of here, and then we'll have another piece for the lower back here. One thing that's quite interesting is I think you can see that there's this big open exposed bit here, which I don't think sounds very safe. Same energy as female armored characters, just having less and less armor the higher the rank they go. He has tragic silver hair, so is he like a fucked up little... Yes! Oh my god. Okay, so I haven't actually played the game. I have watched other people play. I've watched like attendees play the game. So he is a sad little himbo, and I love him because he is a sad little himbo. So this little himbo right here, right? How do I describe him? He is a sad little himbo. You're absolutely right. What is it with you and these sad little... Well, you know what? They're sad and they're hot. What? And he wears like he has the cool mask, right? He has the cool mask that covers half his face. What more do you need, really? Well, okay, wait. He woke up and he couldn't feel pain and he lost all his memories, which is the first step in establishing a character's tragic backstory, which is excellent, right? Amazing. Yeah. So cool, angsty, silver hair, tragic backstory. What more do you want? What more do you want? Are you just thinking of nicknames for him at this point? Really? Really? Where was I? Right. Okay, so this is what we'll call piece 1. This is what we'll call piece 2. Again, we're just gonna bevel the edges of what I hope is fairly thick foam. So we can just kind of smoosh them together and create a little arc here for the back. Right. Okay. So I think we can just do one side. Then we obviously have the little accessory, but we'll come to that. We'll get to that when we get to that. The back, the cloth that I got, I'm so excited about it. Matches this part perfectly actually. So we don't need to worry about this because there is no armor here. Thank the gods. What we do have are these little like hip protector things. Oh, is this on the wrong? This is on the wrong. Oh my god, this is all on the wrong layer. I'm a terrible digital artist. What is this? Back, I say. Back, I say. No, not so back. This is the right layer. This is the right layer. Okay. I'm being smart now. Okay. Anyways, so we'll just take it again that this is the standard back piece here. Have the little blue straps go here and to the front, connect the whole thing together, which means we can disassemble the whole thing together as well, which makes disassembly when you're at a con and you kind of want to get out, you want to get food, so much easier. Foam is fun to shape. I made a nice glider from it once, glider penguin name or glider after a flightless bird. That is brilliant. I love it. What foam do you use? What experience do you have with foam actually? I'm a little bit curious. I'm trying to work with EVA foam. I just need sharper knives. I just need sharper pen knives. I made that mistake and I got so many jagged edges and I hate it. Okay, let's refer to our front piece. Okay, so I think this bit obviously is kind of this bit here, which is fine. It just looks like an additional piece that's kind of tacked on, so we can deal with this later. We'll consider it a peripheral. Okay, we'll consider this a peripheral. The thing that I'm a little bit curious about is this bit here, right here. Because what it looks like is this bit here that's kind of tucked underneath the belt, from what I can see. It makes sense. It makes sense as long as this bit here follows the shape of this. I think it'd be a little bit uncomfortable for the cosplayer if things keep kind of jostling around. Huh. Yeah. Okay, I think that's fine. It can go under the belt, I suppose. I don't see much hint of belt here. Except maybe here, but that doesn't quite make sense with the belt being here. We'll just pretend that this piece here goes underneath a belt. A belt. Again, creative liberty, people. A little dense block of purple foam we shaved it with a belt sander. Oh, okay, that's cool. That sounds like kinda, if it's a solid block that doesn't really bend, might not be EVA, it's probably like, I don't know what it's called, but it's the foam blocks they kind of use for that florists use to make their arrangements. I think those are pretty fun to play with. Used to play with them quite a bit. As a little kid, you can kind of make stamps with them. That's always fun. Okay, and then sorry for the back here, we have our little. I want to call it a cross. I can't call it a cross. Our little dagger thing here as well. Okay, so I think that's it for main body armor in terms of sketches. Okay. I think this side view here gives us a little bit more detail. It does look like these bands run all the way around the leg. What I can think of is we can use just thinner pieces of foam here. So we have the one big piece here, right? We have our one big piece kind of. Sorry. If this is your leg, I know I keep using this drawing, but like whatever. If this is your leg, this is your one big piece of foam in the front, and then you have these little bands here that kind of run around the rest of your leg. Foam might be a little bit uncomfortable for that, so if I could get, I think, some stretchy fabric, silvery stretchy fabric, you know what I'm talking about. That could be good. If not, you can probably just use, really thin foam, I guess, and kind of run it around the. Yeah, you can't see the back of his legs anyway, so that's fine. Kind of run it around the sides here. I'm not even sure if I want to do the inner thighs, because that sounds a little bit uncomfy. I did more electronics than mechanics on the project, so IDK. Fair enough. Okay, we have 3 different viewpoints of our boy, our soft himbo angst boy, TM. So I think that's fine. I'm scrolling through his wiki in the hopes. Channel gave me an ad for not vaping. Thank goodness. Don't vape. It's bad. It's bad for you. Smoking's also bad for you. Just don't do both. Go do something that's like worse, like playing video games and watching VTubers. I don't know, man. I'm scrolling through Alphen'S Alphen'S wiki page, and I think I'm spoiling the game for myself, so I'm just gonna skim past. There are no other pictures. What is this? I am a child. I need pictures. Functionality of form for walking. Yeah, definitely. And you know what? If it doesn't look good in a photo, that's fine. We'll just move them around. We'll just move the cosplayer around a little bit until we get a picture where no one needs to look at his inner thighs. I'm gonna ignore that. Anyways, I'm gonna ignore that. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, cosplay is all about having fun. As long as you have fun doing it, that's all that really matters, right? Kids, follow my Twitter. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't think I am. Let's break down other stuff. Okay. Is that it for the? Okay. One more thing. I guess from the side view here, it just looks like his leg piece, his lower leg piece is broken down into 3 main bits. So there's one here, and then the little knee guard thing here, and then a third bit that's just this entire thing that we may be able to disregard. We'll see. So I guess following that, I'll kind of have to break this piece down as well. So this will go over what this leg bit is here. So if this leg bit kind of looks like that, I suppose, and then we'll just stick this bit on top of this bit. We'll call it 1A and 1B. And then I guess there'll be little patches of Velcro. I love Velcro, man. I might need to use something else for this, but we'll see. Okay. yeah, so we'll probably just do that. So it kind of gives it an additional bit of like lift, because if you think about it, this is like the lower leg piece, and then the knee piece starts here and goes up. So it's a bit more dramatic because let's say your legs here, it kind of covers it a bit more, but it kind of protrudes out a bit as well. So it'll give that little oomph that you can see here in the actual character design. So I think that's pretty good. You could use a soldering iron, I guess, to give really fine detail. But what I found personally from soldering irons is, one, you need good ventilation, obviously. Secondly, if you don't clean the iron as you go, you start to get these really jagged, ugly cuts instead of very clean, I think, cuts that kind of look like they're lasered on, which is what you want when you're doing armor that you assume was crafted by someone who actually had skill, right? Well, it appears I have lifted up my sleeves. Well, it's time to get to work then. Oh, they've come back down. No more work. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, I'm happy with the progress. I'm glad that the bits of body armor don't look too difficult. I say now before I've started any work. Let me just edit a canvas again and kind of double it in size once more. All right. Okay. I will double it in size one more time. Call when you tip it with a bit of stuff to make things stick. As in like for a soldering iron? I use it for anything but its intended purpose, honestly. Like I use it to give this to like make designs and just to heat stuff up sometimes. I've never soldered anything, so that's that. I got a heat gun, so I'm pretty excited. Okay. Time to actually get down to work. Step one is let's kind of, I guess, what can we do with this? I'm gonna group these images together and then kind of, let me throw you in there, and let me kind of duplicate this, move the second group down, and then properly trace over, I think, what I feel like they should look like. Sorry, what I feel like the different components should look like. I think what would be easier is let's start. Let me do it in red because red's always a good color for something dramatic. Let's start with the back piece because it seems the easiest to do. Okay, so we have. Dang it. So we have this. Make our lines as kind of straight and nice as possible. Sometimes you don't really want that much of an arc because that just means you have to cut. You have to cut at you have to cut and you have to be kind of aware of how you're cutting. Blah blah blah. It's a little bit more troublesome. So let's just try and keep our cuts really gentle. Nothing too sharp, I guess. I'm really excited to work on this. But every time I work on a passion project, like, the hype just dies down so fast. Just have no attention span when it comes to it. Alright, so that's it. We have our little fur. I drew on the wrong layer. I drew it on the wrong layer. I drew it on the wrong layer. Okay, well, very cool. I drew it on the wrong layer. Am I surprised? Not anymore. Ah! Copy and paste. Copy and paste. Copy and paste. Maximum 9 layers limit. Since when has there been a 9-layer limit? What do you mean there's a maximum limit of 9 layers? What is this? Procreate, what's going on? 9 layers? 9 layers? That's ridiculous. Come on, Procreate, don't do this to me. What's going on? What? School stole my attention span, so everything else feels wrong. That is so true. Why Procreate only 9 layers? Oh, right, because this image is heckin' huge. It's like 6,000. 6,000. Okay, well. I take that back, Procreate. That is very valid. Let me just, you know what? I'm just gonna start like a new canvas because I feel bad. Let's just can we make the canvas small again? I think. Okay, well, never mind. Black. Okay. Why? Because I just kept expanding the canvas without giving any regard to how big everything actually was. But you know what? That is fine. I forgot that was a thing. It's like I forgot my iPad has limitations. Move my stuff, dang it. Move. Ah. That's on me. That's on me, honestly. Right. Yep, okay. Much better. Background color, let's go back to gray so it's not that distracting, and we'll just kind of squeeze all of these together. We'll group them up and we'll just kind of make them a little bit larger just so they're a little bit easier to work with. Okay, and now let's very carefully pick an actual new layer before we start work on everything. So we'll just do this, for example, we'll just do a clean line down, and then we'll just kind of do one, and then two. That's too thick. That is way too thick. Go to like 3% or something. I'm just using a standard line brush because from what I've realized, planning out a lot of other stuff, it doesn't matter as long as your lines are clean and it's something you can follow in the long run. And obviously I don't think you're gonna get this first try, so something else we really need to consider is the fact that all these, like a whole bunch of adjustments, are probably gonna come like along the way. Like, see, this is too sharp. Like, we don't really want this, I think. Let's try and make it a little bit more gentle. That was terrible. Let's try and make it a little bit more gentle, kind of curve it down. That's it. Curve it down. Then we get one nice piece like this. Obviously, there's curve in how you move the whole thing and all that, but we'll just take it for now. So let's just move this piece here. And then we'll just get down to the lower back with the cool little cutout in the center. I should actually play the game, you know, I should actually play the game sometime. That could be quite useful. How do I want to do this? Okay, we'll do that. And then obviously I think when I make the first prototype, what's gonna end up happening is I'm going to just have the cosplayer wear it and then adjust it on a spot, take those bits of foam again, and then move on. Put on a white shirt this morning. Within 5 minutes, the dog jumped on me, muddy paws. Like, it is a mood. It's a big mood. Dogs, am I right? I might make this a little bit more rounded so it doesn't feel as pointy. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how to feel about pointy armor bits in cosplay. Maybe instead we could kind of run it like this. Yeah, that could also work. We'll just keep that there for now, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll just keep that there for now. Okay, let's move on to, I guess, the front. I think I'm gonna leave this top bit that kind of protrudes out like this. I'm gonna leave this bit out for now because how much I want it to angle up front and all that, I'll kind of have to wait until I get some sort of mock-up done. Yeah, I could stab the cosplayer, you're right. Safety is quite important. I'm gonna wait until I make a mock-up and then kind of shove the cosplayer into it and then just see how steep I want angle. Do I want it like kind of like this or like more out? I think it also depends on like the cosplayer's build and just how comfortable they are with the armor pieces that they're wearing, because obviously they have to be comfortable in it before they can look confident in it. So that's something I've been thinking about quite a bit. Smaller erase tool, that's it. Okay. And then we'll kind of do this. You know what? Yeah, we can keep it like that. Curve it up a bit. And then obviously do this. Okay, good. Then we'll just repeat it. Let me just move this out of the way. Cool, cool. Secondary bit here. Obviously for the left, for his right side, we're just gonna mirror everything that we've done and then just hope that it sticks together. If it doesn't, we'll just go from there. Trial and error, my favorite way to learn. Alright, so this is our little bottom piece here. Cool, cool. We're getting somewhere at least. That's good. And then I think as you make cosplay pieces, the important thing is you just need to learn to firefight the whole way. What's that? Your piece was too big, make it smaller. Your piece was too like gaudy or was the wrong shade or something, well, fix it. You have a whole 72 hours until your convention's here. What do you mean you can't do that? That's not right. Okay, so this piece could actually be the front piece to this. Which means I'll probably put them together. Yeah, I'll probably put them together. Okay, so I'll kind of curve it. Sorry, I'm only quiet because I'm having to concentrate because I kind of want my lines to look at least half decent, you know? Ideally be all decent, but let's face it, that just does not happen. Okay. So if we were to take all of this and I guess flip it onto the other side, just so we can see how things fit together, you kind of get this, which I'm not unhappy about. I think you can kind of get the idea of how stuff is supposed to stick together. More or less, I think. Yeah, I think you can see it. I think you can see it. Ah, my bad. I completely missed out this bit. Okay, so it's here and then down. That's the middle bit. That's the bit that I got. Okay, that's fine. The bit that I missed is here. I was wondering why I looked a little bit off, but that's okay. So we just do this, and then this will, I think, wrap up what meets the back quite nicely. Okay. So we just kind of shove this into place here. Ta-da! This is how things will meet down the middle. Down the middle, sorry, I forgot the crotch dangly thing is still there, so we can't just pretend that Armour stops there. In fact, it probably meets the whole seam line goes down here. That's fine. So we'll label this part quite easily front, and then we'll label this back. I'm gonna sew the I'm not gonna sew them in an undershirt. I'm just gonna get ready to Velcro them. So I would sew them, but I think it's just better to have them a little bit, like you get a little bit of wiggle room with some sort of Velcro, because at least you can move them like peripherally, or if you're like, oh, I need this to be a little bit higher, you can do that. Or if the cosplayer puts it on, then they just kind of realize like this is really uncomfortable for me, I'm just gonna do something else. Then they can just kind of move it. They're free to move it, you know. I'm not just gonna limit them to what I think they should do instead. Yeah, Velcro is pretty nice, except when you kind of accidentally get it on your skin and you're like, ugh, it's the worst feeling in the world. Okay, that is good. Next thing we want to do, oops, let's go back to red. So that's it for chest piece, which was a lot easier than I expected, honestly. Sorry, a lot easier than I expected. Let me think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so onto the leg bit. Leg bit, I think the sketch that we did here is actually a pretty accurate representation. All we want to do is flatten it out so it doesn't look like it's curved. So one thing I think, so instead of kind of doing it like this, where this is pointy and could stab someone, we're just going to do it like this so that it's less pointy and less stabby to people when we go for an actual convention or when I'm helping the cosplayer put it on. Curve, dang it. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to cheat a little bit. There is a symmetry tool. So I'm just going to use it because I just remembered there is a symmetry tool. So that is drawing guide, edit drawing guide. We're going to do symmetry and we're going to budget over here. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have a symmetry tool. I mean, you have it. Why not use it? Am I right? Okay, so that's good. Do I want to draw individual? No, I think I'll just go with the whole thing first. And I get a sense for what I want to do. And then we can always break down these plates into larger individual plates later. Just need to get the number of little like scales on this armor right. Well, that is not right. That is not right. How? He is not that. The curve is a lot more than I expected. My bad. This and kind of like this, I guess, down here. And then one more. And this is the one I think that goes behind the knee. Yep. And then we'll end it here. Okay, cool. So we'll do this. I'll break this down further later. And the next thing we're going to want to do is, I think, his legs. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to move this little drawing guide here. Yep. I think that's fine. I'm going to treat it as fine. Just use symmetry on your integrals. Man, no. Alright. Let's see. Up here. Down here. And then here. Kind of downwards looking here. And then we're going to stop before the shoe and then very nicely curve it up. Sorry. We're going to curve it up. Yeah, like, oops. Yeah, we're going to curve it up like this. And I'll tell you why. We want to curve it up like this so we don't... You know how your foot kind of looks like this? You don't want this bit of all things to be pointy because you'll shank your own foot. So the reason why we curve it this way is so at least it goes down to the side of your foot, the top of your foot when you flex it as you walk. Like, you know, like this. There's a bit more breathing room for you to not get shanked while you walk, which would be quite nice, I assume, while you're cosplaying. But that's my lesson on how not to get stabbed by your own cosplays. Okay. Sorry. Okay, that's fine. So we'll take this shape as well. Everything I do here can and will obviously be broken into half, like so. Yeah. Okay, time to turn off drawing assist. Thank you very much. Why are you... Oh yeah, God. Procreate's a bit dumb sometimes. That's okay. Okay, yay. Works. Okay, so this is just going to be little bits of curved armor, I think. So, sorry. So each plate would just kind of look like this, and then you curve it over. This is really ugly. But you get the idea. You curve it over, and then you do this. You layer it over, and then you do this. Then you layer it over, and then you do this. You repeat until you reach the knee, and then you just kind of stop because the knee bit here is going to cover the rest of it. Now that we have that kind of settled, let's move on. Let's move on to, I think, the bit that covers the knee. Your dogs are menaces? I do sniff. I'm so sorry. I think I'm a little bit under the weather, but that's also okay. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the cool little accessory bits that we see here. And I'm first going to disable, I think, the little sketches that I did, because I think that's kind of done and done. Obviously you have the general shape, but I think you can see, even though it's really, really pixelated, you can see that this shape is broken down further into these shapes. So what I'm going to assume is it looks like this, and then you have the top bit that kind of covers it like this. And then you have a bottom layer that's also kind of connected like this. Sorry, like this. And this bit is the visible bit. So that's how you're going to cover it. So this one whole accessory, yes, I'm going to glue it kind of all together, I guess. Because then you can just have one big Velcro patch here for the belt, which would be good and convenient, which is what we're looking for in a cosplay. Shape on this question, very phallic. Shape and location. Shh. It's about protection because man has no armor underneath it, okay? He might not be able to feel pain, but he can still be sad. Okay. Let's I'm just gonna trace over the shape first and turn on symmetry, and we're gonna trace over the shape, and then we're going to then break it down further into its component pieces, I think. Okay. And you turn drawing assist back on. Alright. Turn drawing assist on. Turn this back to red. Okay. Again, I think we're gonna do the tactic where we kind of make two halves and then we bevel the edges. Just so it has a very clean look, I think, when we join. Wear a cup under. Maybe he does. Who knows? We don't. Alright. Okay, so second layer. And then we have our third layer here. Might need to shorten it in case we don't want our cosplayer to kind of stab themselves wherever, because this looks like a fairly pointy object in a fairly sensitive area. Yeah, he woke up with no memories. Was he really good at fighting? I think he was. Let me go. Blah, blah, blah. So apparently he was a slave. He would run in and take the pain of whoever was in trouble. Okay, fair enough. Oh yeah, because he can't feel pain. It's an entire knife. It could be like if he just made this like the little, kind of the handle. And then you made this a little bit sharper. Yeah, it's a knife. Cool. Okay. That's good. So I'm just using dotted lines to kind of represent how I envision the layers working. So you kind of have it here. So it's 3 different layers. You just glue them together. And then you use like really thin foam on top of that to kind of give effect to your design. It's good. I'm happy with how this one turned out. Just gonna put it here. Oh my goodness, it is the same size as his leg guards. Concerning, but we'll deal with it. Okay, so I think those are all the big pieces. In terms of decoration, we don't have any, but the one thing I want to get out of the way, I think, are these little dagger things, because of all things I can make without much planning, and I think with the very limited kind of foam that I have now, I can definitely make these, and I can probably make this, but this doesn't make sense without the rest of it, so I'm just gonna make these first, because let's not waste any time with it. Okay, let's go back to this. Oh, this is actually a little bit better because it's just so clear. Damn it. Symmetry! Get back here. Okay. Do this and we can also angle it. I genuinely forgot that you could angle it, but it's okay. I remembered it now, and that's all that matters. Do this. Gonna smack it in the middle here. Yeah, okay. And then so I just need to keep checking I'm on the right layer because it feels like I'm not. Okay. Do I like this curve? Do I like the curve of this particular blade? It's not any ellipses, my bad. Okay, let's try this again. I want a shape that I really like. Okay, actually I really like this. We'll go with this. We'll go with this because I really like it. So this is the base shape, right, of the foam itself. I think that's pretty good. And then what we need on top of it is the little kind of cross pattern that it has. So let's try that. The details here are incredibly fine. Even though this is pretty, like, it's a pretty big prop. It's not anything that's super small or anything. I'm still worried at this being very close to the edge and potentially kind of messing it up. when you do it. Oops. So let's try and make this as clean as possible. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think this is okay. And I think the next favorite thing that I'm gonna do is some form of size measurement, because I need to make it to scale. So we have, for example, his height here, and then what we're gonna do is take his height, divide it by whatever unit we're using, and then multiply it by however many units we're using for this. It's very simple. It's how I got the length of Shion's gun, I think. Let me see. How tall is this boy? He is 176. That's fine. Let's turn on drawing guide. Is already on. That's fine. We don't want drawing guide now. We want our 2D grids, so we can have a certain grid size. Sorry, I've just been informed that family member caught COVID, but not in the same household, so I think it should be alright. Anyways, where was I? Right, so we need to count the number of squares here, and then we'll take 176 centimeters, because we use centimeters here, divide by the unit, and then we'll get the size of the stabby knife. Okay, so let's start counting like a nerd. Alright. What we want to do here is, let's just do something new, and then just kind of, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. We'll just stop here. We'll count this 3. Okay, so that's so that's about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 43. So he's approximately 43 squares tall, and his blade, or these dagger knife things, are approximately 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. We'll take 11 because they're kind of at an angle. So they're approximately 11 squares tall. So doing some very quick maths here, we're just going to be able to count, and then just 176 divided by 43 multiplied by 11 squares. So it's about 45 centimeters. Oh, those are massive. What? No way. No way. No way. No way. No way. That's no way. Actually, maybe way. Because, let me see. If it's 30 centimeters, and then I'm trying to look for a ruler. Do I have a ruler here? I do. Okay. That is really big. That is really big. Did I miscalculate? Did I count something wrong here? Hold on. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 43. This is 3, 6, 9, 10, and then 11. Damn it. That doesn't feel right. But it is. I guess if it sits at his hip and then kind of goes down, I feel like 30 centimeters would be more than enough. Executive decision, these things are now 30 centimeters long. Because it feels weird otherwise. So let's just take it as 30 centimeters long. Oops, wrong color. Go back to red. Take this as 30 cm. Okay then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if it's 12 units with 30 cm each, then I suppose it would be approximately 10 cm wide at its widest. I think that's fine. So we'll just take 10 centimeters at its widest, doing the math. It looks like it'd be quite proportionate, and then you can, I assume you could, if you're a little bit lazy, you can just cheat, probably punch a little hole here and then tie it to the belt directly. And the bonus is if we tie it to the belt, then we should be able to just kind of, if we tie it to the belt, we should be able probably to just, remove them as we want and replace them whenever we want. Velcro could also work. I feel like tying it or getting more faux leather in order to make this like little chain bit here would just add to the cool dangly effect that these seem to give off. I also need to get the leather required. I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. It would be very nice though if we could get the cool slanting look here. Maybe just because this kind of crotch bit might be heavier, so it pulls down. Kind of begs the question: is the belt attached to the armor itself? Man, this makes no sense, but that's okay. We'll just experiment and kind of get through it together. Okay, I'm really satisfied, I think, with the progress we've made today specifically. What I'm going to do now is I think go take a look at what foam I have currently and see whether it's suitable for making this. Like this blade thing, because I think that seems easy to make, and I'm going to need to make like 1, 2, about 8 of them, I think. We'll make 8 and we'll see how many of them actually look nice and see how many can be sanded down, because you see here that obviously they're still at an angle, so you can't just make them like this, and then like if this were the baseball, you can't just make the dagger look like this because it'd be ugly. You kind of need to sand it down or just kind of trim it down so that, it looks nice, because that's the whole point of cosplay, isn't it? Have fun and make things look nice. Alright, so if I continue the cosplay stream tomorrow, there's more to continue. We'll work on, I think, his pauldrons, Shion's pauldrons, and just everything on the arms, which I'm kind of dreading to work on because it just feels really, really overwhelming. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of layers going on, it's very big. Something that I've never really considered. Hello, what's up? Yeah, so the arm bits are something I'm not really looking forward to. But for now, I think this bit here seems very manageable. I think I can do this in a couple of days. I'll get the first one going tomorrow. Or maybe tonight, we'll see. Kind of examine what materials I have, see what I need. Probably buy way too much and then wonder what am I ever going to use it for. Buy the faux leather that I need in blue. Hopefully the blue matches the blue that I have for his cape. If not, I think a lighter blue also works because it kind of gives character and dimension to what is quite like a just silver. I really like the blue highlights. It adds a lot, especially the harness at the back here, and then the little belt bit here. Planning on attaching the cape to I think the blue belt as well, so we'll need to think about how thick you want to cut these strips to, and maybe get some buckles and stuff so it looks extra cool. I do realize that he has like little armbands here that are visible from the back. It could help as like kind of a marker for where you want to position the foam on his arms. I think the thing that kind of scares me about doing armor specifically is just that there's a lot of curvature involved. So eyeballing it doesn't work the same way as it would for when you're doing like chest pieces or something that's a bit more flat, even the front of your legs. Yeah, so we'll need to think about all of that. For now, I have a rough, kind of a rough outline of what I want to do for the chest pieces, what I want to do for the leg pieces, and what I want to do for some of the accessories for Alphen. I think that's okay. We'll move out here and we'll just take one more look at, I think, Xion. What I want to do as well before I head off, I think, is to just, or maybe I'll do this tomorrow because it is a bit late. What I want to do is consider what kind of PVC pipe I want to use for her gun, how much foam I need for it, and whether I should start by using like a thicker foam, let's say 6 to 8 mm foam, in building like the body of a gun surrounding the PVC pipe before I move on to thinner layers, and then kind of shaving things off from there, because a gun does have a lot of angles, so I think that's pretty good with foam. Do know that the barrel of the gun obviously is a bit more rounded, so I'm not too sure how to do that. I'll go watch some videos, maybe like look at Reddit or some cosplay help groups, because there are just so many around. Just see how that's gonna work. I think spray painting is not a concern right now, so I'm just gonna see how I want to assemble this first and then break it down into more manageable component pieces. Maybe as I'm working on a little dagger bit for Alphen, I'll just take some time and just also work, or just try and do like, for example, this highlight bit here for a gun, and just see and just see how that goes. And because some foam really is, I think, a bit too thin. Like 1 mm feels like it's almost nothing, and yet it could be quite significant. So who knows? Well, there's a fair bit of stuff to consider, and I think I'll just take some time to think about it and just go hunt down some foam that I have right now. Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. I do need to think about what I want to make, what I want to use for Xion's like little necklace thing as well. It looks like a choker. It looks way too thick to be a choker. It also looks like it's made out of metal, so that's something else I need to think about. I think wearing foam around your neck could get a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you need to connect it, because it does look closed. Then again, the ponytail should cover the back, so maybe I can get away with something a little bit cheeky there. I'll think of all these things tomorrow. I might even start on the petticoat for Xion's dress tomorrow. But for now, I'll just go and look at the dagger designs again. Anyways, I've been talking for like the past 1.5 hours. I still don't have a lot of streaming energy. But thank you guys so much for joining, and I really appreciate you guys stopping by. And yeah, follow my Twitter. I will update there if I'm streaming more and what I'm streaming. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!